is over. Spoiler alert on the ID there, shown just below the command center. This guy was teamless for quite some time, but now he has found one. This is, of course, SuperNova, wearing his MTW hoodie. Very simple, very nice. Looks like he may have lost some weight. His opponent, the first Protoss that we will see today, but also the last. Actually, that's not even true. His ID is first. We already saw Protoss versus Terran. It went by so quickly, though, with Zahn there, that it was kind of like a blur to me. Now, we'll see what SuperNova has planned. This is our new 2-player map. Belshir Vestige. Vestige. However you'd like to pronounce it. Very interesting map. I like it a lot. So far. You know, I would have liked it to be a little bit smaller. I really think that these bigger maps are hurting the viability of earlier strategies, the strategies that we haven't seen in such a long time. A lot of people talk about, you know, Blizzard has done a good job balancing this game, but a lot of the reason why we see strategies phase out of this game is not because of balance changes, but because of map changes. And that's another reason why Blizzard has to be so careful with balancing, because if you balance something and then maps become bigger also, then certain things can become way too weak. And that's never something you want to see. So Blizzard being patient, people taking maps in their own hands have changed the game so drastically. But on the other hand, I really feel that maps could be sized down about 20% right now in general. Almost every map, except like in Toon Valley. Maybe not in Antigua. But World 1, definitely, yeah. This map, definitely, yeah. eBay block on the Nexus here goes down for SuperNova. When you skip a Zealot, you may have this happen to you. You know, you think, it'll never happen to me. Well, first, I'm sorry it happened to you, man. That's why you don't skip a Zealot. He sees that there's no gas, so he feels, yeah, I skip a Zealot, that's fine. You know, he's not proxy barracks me. I'm okay here. Not okay, though. You know how long it's going to take to kill at eBay? Well, you're about to find out. First Stalker comes out. Now, skipping the Zealot, of course, gives you 100 extra resources to make your Nexus a little bit faster. But what he's going to find out here with this probe very soon.
Your probes are under attack.
His probes are under attack in the main base of SuperNova, in fact, which he will finally lose. Second gas goes down. And you have to make the second gas see this because you can't just sit here and bank up minerals. Look at how long it's going to take, even with the probe here. He's been shooting that for a long time already. The Stalker does damage at such a slow rate, it just takes forever. It's still up. Observer doesn't even want to show it. He's already bored. It's still there, by the way. It's not even halfway dead. This is so annoying. Nexus is severely delayed here, and he's going to get a ton of that money back, 75% in fact, which I think is like 98 minerals or something, 94. Gets it back. Nexus goes down. No real cost to SuperNova, high cost to first. So, SuperNova now already getting his triple barracks up. We'll add his factory fairly soon after he starts stim, so he can get the medevac production going, so he can put pressure on this map. And like Son earlier, first is going to go double gate before robotics. Get those gateway units out to be safer. Checking all across the map just to be 100% certain that there's no shenanigans going on. If he can find an SCV that might come in to scout later as well. For example, SuperNova now needs to know if the Nexus is made. What if it's an all-in instead? That's why he's saying that SCV are on the left side, which first barely missed it, and it was bad luck. He checked specifically for SCVs like this, but unfortunately he's not going to see it. And you guys don't even see it yet. But it's going to come around, he's going to see the Nexus. There's no way for first to stop him. You ready for this? Well, I thought you guys were going to see it. You're not even going to see it at all. Not only did it see a Nexus went into the main base, stim is started, but SuperNova knows the Nexus is there now. And this game is very textbook Instagram. Really unfortunate for first that he missed the SCV, because right now otherwise SuperNova would have to make probably another bunker even, and he may even have to make a depot to make sure there's no Warp Prism 4-gate coming, because that would be the scariest thing unscouted for him. Second bunker is in itself though important, because he doesn't know really what's in the main base. He got into the main, and he didn't see the Robo at that time, because it wasn't started yet. And he saw the pylon that actually reveals, or now that is powering the Robo, but just has to make that second bunker to be careful. And the Stalkers here just poke a little bit. It's a very scary situation for SuperNova, but he plays it cool, doesn't overreact, just keeps a few SCVs pulled, but that's exactly what First wants to accomplish here. And as soon as Stim is done, he can actually start to move out with his Marauders, which he's powered up a ton of. He delayed his factory to get additional Marauder production. We're seeing the first Colossus and +1 armor coming out on the Forge, which means that we are going to see basically the exact same style that we saw from Son against earlier, name escapes me, Happy. Almost wanted to say Yoda, but of course that's a different Terran player from the same team, who did actually get first place in this group and advance in Code S. Now, the Colossus is coming out. He's getting range, though, which means he's probably going to make more than one. Because if he made just one Colossus range, yeah, the range upgrade would be helpful for that one Colossus, but it would not be a very high return on investment. This is a big push the SuperNova is pulling out here with a lot more Marauders than you would normally have, and he's got Stim, and the Force Fields better be good if he wants to hold. This is a great build for this map. There's two entrances. This actually is a little bit like dual sight, how he can attack on this map. He splits, he doesn't Stim yet. Now he does it at the right moment, I feel, and the sentries are evaporated. The Colossus is exposed, no range yet. He tries to target it, but loses a lot of units in the process. He does get that Colossus down, and now probes have to be pulled. This is a tough spot for First, who, with reinforcements coming in here, is going to have to rely on that next Colossus to actually hold. And he needs more than that, though. He's got to warp in, but he warps in the battlefield. That Stalker gets taken out before it can even fire a shot. Oh, this is not good at all for First. He could actually just lose this game right here and now. 2 additional gateways are going up, but he's going to lose so many probes right now. Sentry goes down. The Zealot is going to go down here as well. And he's targeting down that Zealot. He wants to get the Colossus, but he doesn't have enough DPS. He should actually just go for probes, I feel, at this point. He only takes out shields on that Colossus. If he can actually connect with it, he can take it out. He's going to get another Stalker for free. First is wanting to warp those units in so they can fight right away, but if you warp them in on top of the units of your opponent, if he targets them, then you're just going to lose it. And that is that. Last unit's picked off, but First lost a ton of units there. 51 to 45 Harvesters, though. Losing the Colossus was the biggest problem. If he'd saved that, then I would say even that First might be ahead at this point. He started his +1 weapons, so he's going to be coming out at 1-1 a little bit later than SuperNova will. SuperNova loves his early eBay play. Twilight Council comes up so he can allow those 2-2 upgrades and also the transition into a different composition. The composition of First becomes a little bit predictable now, though. With the second Colossus shown, now SuperNova knows drop play is going to be especially effective, and also that he just needs to pour on Viking production. He knows Templar are not going to be a problem for him for a long time, if the game even goes that long. He may, if he does enough damage with these drops, be able to end the game early. That's exactly what this probe is looking for, though, and look at this. It's like they were tied together by fate. Probe gets taken out, the pylon has to be cancelled. But most importantly, the probe did its job, which is to see the drop, which allows First to move into position. He scans the natural. He's testing him. He says, are your units where they need to be? Alright, they are. Okay, that's fine. I used a scan to find this out. But if I scan and I saw your units are at the natural, I drop you 100% and I'm going to do some damage. +2 armor now started, but 2-2 is coming out for SuperNova. He's, with the double eBays, able to get a lot more upgrades out quicker. He's got his third base finishing up right now. It's something that First is about to go and start right now at his own third base location, but the factory is going to see that. And he's actually just going to ignore it. In fact, the factory's not even going to check for that. He wants to fight now with his Vikings. He's got 4 of them right up at the front. The upgrades are even for these 2 players. The composition is good for SuperNova, but I feel he just needs a little bit more here before he can do something Blink is almost done. This is going to allow First to chase if he wants to. Oh, and critically here, SuperNova does not see the third base just yet. In fact, the factory's trajectory still is not on the route to spot it. He's got his own third up faster, and, you know, as I said before, with the 2 E-base, he's going to get upgrades very quick. The Stalkers can chase, but I don't think he wants to. A little bit of hesitation on SuperNova's micro there. I think he kind of botched it. The Stalkers blink to the side to pick off the Vikings, but the damage has been done. The reinforcements come through here. Sentries do not have a lot of DPS. Does he actually have what it takes to end this Terran Force with the Immortal? It looks like he will. Needs to pull it back. Decides just to fight here, and First will actually be able to blink again on top of that Viking. And this is an engagement SuperNova messed up the micro on. He over-microed, and over-microing is a term a lot of people don't like to use, but I think it's appropriate. When you stutter step too long without using the attack command, for example, you don't get that extra shot off that you need, and that's what First was able to capitalize on, because SuperNova hesitated for a minute, then the force fields came down that he wasn't able to fire then either, and that was a great trade for First, who now starts double forge upgrades, so he's going to have plus 2/2 done, and with the Chrono Boost, he has plus 2 armor a little bit faster than SuperNova will. But he can start plus 3 armor right away and close the gap and upgrades just a little bit. Ghost Academy goes down now, but still no Templar Archives. In fact, First is sticking with the Colossus. This is something that SuperNova is not expecting, really, as he's cut Viking production out entirely. That Warping Point is going to be such an annoyance later on for SuperNova. That's why he made that bunker over there at his third base. Wants to be able to hide Marauders in there to stop against Zealot Run-Bys, because a Zealot Run-By will never kill your Marauders in the bunker if you react fast enough with your SCVs to pull and repair. Let's look at the army size right now. It's actually 68 to 50 in SuperNova's favor, but with the lack of Vikings composition-wise, with good force shields, he's not gonna be happy here. One medevac does go down. Really nice targeting there by First. That's what Blink, you know, was not used for, I feel, in StarCraft 2's life originally, but now is used for it. He picks off another one. In fact, you guys didn't get to see it. All you have to do is right-click on the medevac, and then shift, and then right-click away from it, away from where the army is, and the second the medevac dies, your Stalkers are out, so that you don't even have to think about it. +1 Plasma Shields comes out for First now, who skips +3. He does not get +3 for armor. Gets Plasma Shield instead. An interesting choice. It's going to be more useful for his Archons. That's really interesting. And that's that bunker I talked about earlier. You can see it coming at work here. He's still going to get a few hits off on some of those SCVs and get a Marine there as well, but relatively useless overall. The Plasma Shields here is a choice that hardly anyone makes, and I really like that. It's just like one little touch. Nice pickup on the medevac again. It forces the engagement where SuperNova was like, I'm not so sure. And the First is like, well, you better hurry up and decide, because otherwise I'm going to pick off another one of your medevacs. SuperNova's like, fine, alright, we won't fight here. He's fighting a bigger army with a smaller one, using the composition advantage he has, and using those Stalkers to great effect. It's going to take a double round of Warpins for First to actually get anything done at that third base. He makes 5 Zealots. I still think I would like to see more if he really wants to do something here. You guys are going to get a shot of it in a second at the top right. The Zealots are going to work on that bunker, but he's got the repair off. And again, it's not enough. And there it is. You guys can see it. 5 Zealots will die here. 4 die, and the 5th one will die in just a minute to reinforcing units. That's a huge investment for First, who has a smaller army size than his opponent. What if those Zealots were actually part of the army that is about to fight? Right here and right now, he's going to wish he had those 5 Zealots. Archon will go down. It's +1 shields actually protecting it here. Look at that concave, and a lot of SCVs are here to help out, but they're at the back. Storm goes down. It's pretty good. He needs to get the SCVs in the front. Most of them have started to die now. And look at this. SuperNova is fighting to the death with those SCVs. He knows he needs to end the game now. He gets that Colossus, and there's not a lot of DPS left here for First. All the DPS of SuperNova's units does not change, even though they're almost all dead. A lot of them are in the red right now. Doesn't matter how low your hit points are, you can still do the same amount of damage. Because this is a video game, and it's not realistic. Well, that's how it is. All video games are like this. You have 1% health left, you still do the same amount of damage. Stalker's chase, but it's not time to be chasing. He's trying to force another stem, and he's actually successful in it. So you could argue that's a little bit of AoE damage done there by that blink, but this game may just end right now. SuperNova's army is so strong. He's got a lot of energy on those medevacs to help heal it as well. The Colossus position here is excellent. He needs to target it down. He can't be 1Aing like that. He's got to use his Vikings on a different hotkey. He even has them on a different hotkey, some of them, but not all of them. You could tell by his movements there he wasn't using them like that. It's so critical, actually, to make sure your Vikings stay and target while you kite with the rest of your forces. If you kite with your Vikings too, then why do you even have them? Now, the base over here to the left, SuperNova does not know about, and that's really important because this is First's lifeline right now. He's very far behind, and even with this base, he's not in a favorable position in this game anymore, but his upgrades are finishing up. They're clearing through now, and SuperNova on his way back. He spots this. He knows about the base now. The probes are going to actually fight here, and SuperNova does not have a lot of hit points again. He's got a few more reinforcements coming in. The Archons, with that shield upgrade, do a nice job at defending this base, and in fact, the Vikings are going to be taking out several of them. And even though there's a slight supply advance for SuperNova, with the economy that First has right now, he's still in this game. Just not for much longer. He lost more probes than I thought even. He's down to 20. And the thing is, he's got no mining in his main base anymore. All that SuperNova has to do is rehash out his economy a little bit. His upgrades are done as well. Get some more medevacs out, because he knows his opponent won't be able to afford Colossi right now. Get some ghosts even. Yeah, he's getting one ghost right now. And then take another fight at that fourth base that's relatively undefended. First is on a clock right now, and the clock is ticking. 5 Marines and 3 ghosts now. That's all he can afford. He's trying to dump some of that gas. In fact, I'd like to see him pull all SCVs out of gas. All but maybe like 1 or 2 for a brief moment here. He's trying to add as many ghosts in as possible. The later the game goes, the scrappier it gets, the more energy units become efficient and useful, especially against a composition that's heavily shield upgraded with Archons and Storms. Storms ignore upgrades, they ignore army sizes, whatever they touch, they melt. That's why these EMPs and snipes are going to be so critical. That Storm, not accomplishing a whole lot. It was a zoning Storm. He's got no vision on the other side of that line of sight blocker. The opposite can be said of SuperNova. With those Vikings, he can see. And so that's why he's trying to zone here with his EMPs that he wants to drop. One Lone Templar ventures out, but he's spotted by the Viking. Another snipe goes down, but he loses the Templar. And one Viking falls, but it's not a problem, considering there's no Colossi here. Another snipe goes off, and the Ghosts lead the charge, and the Zealots have to pull back. I think SuperNova has too much here. Coming into the Nexus now, he actually just gets the Concave, the Archons at the back trying to add in their damage, but it's just too much. SuperNova will actually claim victory here in game number 1. Another EMP hits, the Archons fall, and GG. SuperNova claims victory on this large map in the late game, playing it to his advantages, hit that timing with his SCVs. Even though they were at the back, they helped out enough for him to take that fight, that one fight that led him to snowball. First threw a lot of units at that third base from that pylon. That's a lot of resources lost. When you're low on units, you try and take a fourth base, you start throwing units at your opponent's bunker. I just find that choice wrong on so many levels. It's kind of like an autopilot thing, I think, for First to be doing that. It's like, well, I want to harass him now. This is the phase of the game where I'm jumping around, I'm chrono boosting everything. All right, I got to hit my cooldown on that pylon, warp in and harass. If there's no bunker there, or if you're really ahead, yeah, you can do that. But if you're down in army supply, you warp in 10 Zealots. That's 10 Zealots you don't have in a fight when you're going to need them. So the final map here, or not the final map, if SuperNova wins, it will be the final map, is in Tomb Valley map number 2. 1 game away from SuperNova knocking out First, a great LGIM Protoss, someone that people have been talking about for forever. See if he can make a good run here in Code A or not. Or am I just nuts? I just want to make an LGIM nuts reference there, but I didn't work out. Sorry. Sorry for that, guys. Let's go into Tomb Valley.